Good afternoon, great Nigerians, and welcome to the Real-Time Political Gist. This is where we break down the big news making waves across the country so that everyone can understand the real deal. Today, we are diving deep into a very hot topic that has everyone talking, and it is all about the man, the movement, and the party. Look at this headline with me: Obidient Movement reveals Peter Obi's plan for 2027, ADC Ultimatum and LP crisis. My friends, the political landscape in Nigeria right now is just like a Nollywood movie, full of twists, turns, and suspense. The biggest question on the lips of every Nigerian, especially those in the Obidient Movement, is, what exactly is Peter Obi doing about 2027? And that is the first part of this gist we must talk about. The Obidient Movement, which is the popular name for the massive grassroots supporters of Mr. Peter Obi, has been a major force since the last election. They are the ones talking the most, pushing the agenda, and they have actually made some big revelations. What we are hearing in the news is that Mr. Peter Obi himself has shown a clear interest in the 2027 presidential election. In fact, reports have it that he has made a proposal to a potential opposition coalition, stating that if he is elected president in 2027, he is open to serving just a single term of 4 years. Now, this is a major political statement. A one-term pledge means he is saying, I just want to come in, fix the most urgent problems, security, poverty, and education, and then step back. This is a fresh angle in our Nigerian politics where politicians usually want to hold power for as long as possible. The Obidient Movement is backing this idea, seeing it as a sign of his commitment to service and not just power. They are mobilizing on the ground and online, making sure this vision does not just stay as a talk but turns into action. But you know, for every sweet gist, there is always a small bump. And that bump brings us to the second part of the headline, the Labour Party, LP, crisis. Or, the Labour Party. This is where the drama is high grade. Peter Obi is the biggest name in the party, but the party itself is facing major, serious internal problems. There are different factions. Two main groups are struggling for the leadership position, with the popular faction being the one led by Barrister Julius Abure. Just recently, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, affirmed the Abure-led executive, but another group is still kicking and submitting alternative lists. My people, the gist is that these internal fights are causing a lot of war for the Obidient Movement. You see, the movement is bigger than the party, but to contest an election, you must have a party platform. Some party members are even calling out Peter Obi and the governor of Abia State, Alex Otti, over alleged mismanagement of 2023 campaign funds, even though Obi himself has accused the ruling party of trying to infiltrate and destabilize the Labour Party. Let me tell you, this internal fighting is a very big distraction. It is making some people in the Obidient Movement look for other options, saying if the Labour Party is not ready for good governance, they will have to look for another platform. This is a crucial point, because a divided house cannot stand, especially not in a fight for the presidency. Please, as you are listening to this important gist, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We need you to join our community so you don't miss any breaking news. Now, let's move to the last part of this big headline, the ADC Ultimatum. The ADC, which is the Action Democratic Congress, is part of the emerging opposition coalition that Peter Obi has been engaging with. In politics, especially when you are planning for a big event like 2027, you must form alliances. Peter Obi has made it clear that he is open to forming a coalition, but it must be based on issues that will solve Nigeria's problems, like fighting hunger and bad governance. He is not interested in an alliance just for the sake of power sharing or getting a vice presidential slot. The whole talk about an ultimatum came up because of the intense politicking going on. There were initial speculations that some groups within the Obidient Movement were giving Obi an ultimatum to choose a clear direction because of the Labour Party crisis. However, key figures in the movement have come out to clarify that they did not issue any ultimatum to Peter Obi. They said their focus is still on unity, accountability, and the vision for a new Nigeria. However, the pressure is real. People want to know, is Obi staying with the Labour Party despite the crisis, or will he move to a new party, maybe even the ADC, as part of the coalition? Some reports even suggested that the national chairman of the Labour Party, Mr. Abure, had issued a kind of ultimatum to Peter Obi to choose between the Labour Party and the ADC coalition choices. This shows that the internal party drama is directly connected to the coalition talks. What this all boils down to, my viewers, is that the road to 2027 is already very hot. The Obidient Movement is consolidating Peter Obi's image as a man of service with the one-term pledge. The Labour Party is struggling with a leadership crisis that is threatening to swallow the entire movement. And the coalition talks with parties like the ADC are showing that Peter Obi is keeping his options open, but only for an issue-based alliance. So, the Obidient Movement plan for 2027 is clear. Peter Obi is running, likely with a one-term agenda, but the path is complicated by the LP's internal crisis and the tricky business of forming a strong, united opposition coalition. Nigerians are watching closely to see how Peter Obi will navigate this very complex political water. This gist is still very long, and we have more details to uncover, like the grassroots strategies of the Obidient Movement and what the other political parties are doing in response. Please don't forget, like this video and subscribe so you don't miss the next part of this analysis. Let's dive deeper into the current realities of the Labour Party, LP, because this is where the main confusion is coming from. The Labour Party's crisis is not just a small disagreement, it is a full-blown war for the soul of the party, and it is happening between the group led by Barrister Julius Abure and the other factions, including the one led by Lamidi Opopo, and now we hear of another list submitted by a group around Nanodi. My people, the major problem here is this: who is the real leader of the Labour Party? The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is the body that will decide whose candidates will be on the ballot in 2027. Recently, we heard that INEC affirmed the Abure-led executive after a National Executive Council (NEC) meeting where congresses were held across states. But then, we also hear that another group is submitting an alternative list to INEC. This back and forth is what is causing serious anxiety among the Obedients. Think about it, Peter Obi is the movement star player, but the field he is supposed to play on, which is the Labour Party, is shaking. And this shaking has led to a very big development: no automatic ticket for Peter Obi. That's right. The Labour Party, under Julius Abure's leadership, has declared that the presidential ticket for 2027 is now open to all party members. This is a huge shift. Before now, it was like, Obi is our candidate, Shekina, that's final. But now, they are saying that Peter Obi and Governor Alex Otti of Abia State no longer have an automatic ticket. They must now compete with other members. This is a clear sign that the party leadership is asserting its authority, and it is a way to tell the Obidient Movement that the party structure cannot be ignored. However, the Obidient Movement itself is making a major counter-statement. The national coordinator, Dr. Yunusa Tanko, has made it very clear that the Obidient Movement is bigger than the Labour Party. They are saying that their loyalty is to Peter Obi and his vision for good governance, not to the party platform itself. He said that if it becomes obvious that the Labour Party is not ready to embrace the idea of good governance and unity, they will have to look for another opportunity or another party where they can trade their market, meaning, where Obi can run for president. This is the big game changer. The threat of Obi leaving the Labour Party is the biggest card the Obidient Movement holds. If he leaves, the party might become just a regular, small party again. The Labour Party leadership, on their side, is urging Peter Obi to stay and help rebuild the party, reminding him that many aspirants stepped down in 2022 to give him the platform to contest. This is a very delicate balancing act. Let's quickly go back to the ADC coalition gist, because it is related to this. Peter Obi has been very active in trying to unite opposition forces under a coalition that will challenge the current government in 2027. His single, one-term pledge is a major